Imagine getting up in the morning and realizing that everything you will see and experience today, everything you will think and feel, is already predetermined. It's like being in a film in which you've always played the leading role unconsciously, and now you finally know the script. But can you also imagine that you are not only playing the leading role in this film, but that you are also the screenwriter?
Huh? This or something similar could be your perception if you have read the book Consciousness by Christian Bischoff. Not familiar with the book? No problem. In the following minutes, we will help you to decode your script with the help of consciousness and to reorganize it according to your wishes.
In fact, our memory is like a film, with scenes chosen by and for us, the only viewers, embellished here and there with post-production, and edited to make the story make sense to us. The big problem here? Contrary to what we think, the entire production of the film is not done by us, but by our subconscious. More precisely by our brain, affectionately christened Einstein by us. Einstein's job is not to make the film as realistic as possible, so that we can learn something and make an optimal and happier sequel.
Nope.
His only biological task is to make the film as easily digestible as possible, through repression and reinterpretation, so that our genetic fitness is maintained and we continue to survive and reproduce.
To understand how this happens, let's look back at when the first images of us were made. For the first 7 years of our lives, there was nothing like what we now think of as the adult human being. We had no sense of self, no view of the world, and certainly no basic thoughts or beliefs. If you had a camera running all the time during those first years of life, you would have destroyed almost all the content. The brain, that is Einstein, merely stores the material of solutions that have been found to various problems. And these solutions were found by imitation or by trying things out for oneself. However, since the latter is only possible to a limited extent at this age, our later self is often the imprint of the enormous influences we were exposed to at that time. Our brain does not care that the solutions it finds are not necessarily optimal, only that the solution ensures survival and saves as much energy as possible. By the time we are 7 years old, much of our self-image and worldview has been formed in this way. And by the time we reach adulthood at the latest, our formed personality consists almost entirely of stored behaviors and emotional responses. This is followed by decades in which most people are subjected to a pre-recorded subjective film in the form of up to 60,000 thoughts every day, according to which they organize their lives by playing the same scenes over and over again and recalling what they have learned to think and believe at the touch of a button. And so, sooner or later, the familiar past becomes the predictable future. You have surrendered your free will to an Einstein-controlled program.
Oh yeah!
This program can only be interrupted by painful crises and shocks in life. Or consciousness.
As opposed to unnecessary and often painful crises and shocks that come far too late, when our brain realizes that it can't go any further with the solutions it has found, and automatically has to look for new ones, awareness requires only a simple awareness. Its thoughts are not commands but merely recommendations. Einstein is neither an omniscient coach nor a scholar. He is more like a concerned friend who wants to tell you something or warn you about something because he has had a bad experience with it or heard bad things about it from someone else. The thoughts that Einstein produces are merely the product of past experience, with the sole purpose of persuading you to act in order to ensure your survival. And what do you do when a worried friend tries to warn you about something? Right, you act and see if there is any truth to it. And you do the same thing with your thoughts. A simple example. It's Friday after lunch, you're at work, you have another team meeting, and your boss makes a snide remark and gives you an unfriendly look. Einstein immediately tells you to watch out, he doesn't like you anymore. You don't mention it, you go home. What does your brain do all weekend? It chews on this thought over and over again. By Sunday evening, in your mind, he already hates you. Monday morning, you go to work, and to make matters worse, your boss doesn't say hello. Einstein immediately tells you to watch out. You're going to get fired. By the middle of the week, you are so on edge that you take the slightest negative comment from a colleague as a sign that no one likes you anymore. By Thursday, you're already fired. By Friday, you're broke. And by the weekend, you can see yourself sleeping under the bridge. If you go on this merry-go-round long enough, the world will come to an end, and the whole week will be over. You could have spared yourself all this if you had taken direct action. So the most effective way is always direct communication. By saying it out loud, you make yourself aware of your thoughts. Now you can take appropriate action to calm Einstein and therefore yourself. If it concerns another person, talk to them. If it is you, enter into a self-discussion with Einstein. The more often you do this and go straight in, the faster you will come out using this technique. You're always free to decide what you want to believe, and you should question your thoughts with awareness rather than just following them. For it is through what you believe that you create your own truth, which in turn determines your actions. The biggest illusion at this stage is that we can train our brains to think only positive thoughts. This simply won't work, because everything in life is polar, that is, it has two sides. Our brain will always produce negative thoughts, no matter how much you train your mind. However, with the help of awareness, we can actively remind ourselves of these small, crucial reminders at precisely these moments. There are specific strategies you can use that we would like to share with you today. Tip 1. Watch your own behavior. When you wake up tomorrow and are still in bed, ask yourself the question, what am I going to choose today? It could be something small, like, I'm going to be indulgent with myself today. Or something big like, I'm going to be open when I meet a lot of people today. You then get out of bed with this decision and daily task, and hopefully you will spend the whole day observing and correcting yourself in all everyday situations. Tip 2. Ask yourself specific questions. As is so often the case in life, great change always begins with new and stimulating questions. The crucial first question here is, where am I still at odds with myself? In other words, where in my daily life do I keep getting caught up in negative feelings or thought spirals? The answer is immediately followed by the next important question. Where did this happen to me in my childhood? Using these questions, you can identify old patterns and consciously work to break them.
Anyone who has ever come out of a serious crisis will be familiar with this feeling, even if it usually lasts only a short time. Everything that was on our minds before suddenly becomes miraculously unimportant. It feels as if we are suddenly living much more consciously. Consciousness is therefore often described as the art of perceiving the world as it really is. It's like taking off a pair of glasses that are far too strong. Everything that was distorted before can now be seen clearly. This is a powerful demonstration that it is not the things themselves that cause us problems, but the filter through which we see them. And this filter can be clearly measured in time and form. Whether it's a presentation, a job interview, or a first date, anxiety is always the result of your mind being in the future. anger, self-doubt, resentment. All these negative feelings only arise when your mind wanders into the past and reactivates something from that past. And then there are our problems. They arise even when we are mentally in the past as well as in the future. But there is a time in which none of this exists. The present, also known as the here and now. In the here and now, there is no fear, no problems, no negativity. Once you have reached this state, you will be able to solve any problem by becoming detached from the problem. Too abstract? Let's say a good friend of yours has a problem. He has been despairing for days because he can't find a solution, or so he thinks. You listen to his problem and immediately think of several solutions. Does this sound familiar? It's not magic, it's your awareness. Because you have no emotional attachment to this problem, neither in the future nor in the past, you can get a clear, real view of this challenge through the present and immediately focus on the solutions. So you see, in consciousness, things are just as they are, absolutely non-judgmental. And this is where the key and the happiness lies, in the acceptance of what is. In this state, we can consciously decide which things we want to attach importance to so that we can make the most of our lives and enjoy every moment. Then there is nothing left to trigger you, and you can finally look at life, your fellow human beings, and yourself with your heart. Of course, we also have 2 practical strategies that we would like to share with you. Tip 1. Mindfulness exercises. Take a moment to look around you. Try to actively notice things that make you happy. Could it be a particular lamp that shines beautifully, a drink that you are having that tastes particularly good, or perhaps a great view that you are enjoying? By focusing your attention each day on something that makes you happy in the here and now, you are actively training your mind to notice the positive in the moment. Tip 2. Measure your state of consciousness regularly. The best indicator of your state of consciousness is an honest reflection of your own basic attitude towards life, other people, and yourself. Do you feel good or bad about yourself and others? Remember that what you carry inside is what you perceive more on the outside.
If you have made it this far, you are actually closer to happiness than most people will ever be. For as long as a man cannot let go of his mind, he can read thousands of books, attend thousands of seminars, and still miss the essence of life. His mind is constantly driving him into the past and the future. And he misses that moment where all the lightness and all the joy of life is. So there is only one story that stands between us and our happiness. And that is the story we tell ourselves about ourselves. Are you ready to rewrite it right now?
Thank you for taking the time to learn more about the power of consciousness. If you would like to discover more inspiring and life-changing techniques, please feel free to visit our channel and explore our wide range of videos. Each video is an opportunity to change your life for the better. Subscribe to never miss any of our valuable content. We look forward to accompanying you on your personal development journey.